For the past 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, Nigeria has been having challenges that are beckoning and waiting for answers and solutions. That is why we are bringing to you our program, State of the Nation. And this is going to come up on our flagship program this morning on ITV. I am hereby inviting you to join me, Bola Bakare, your host, on State of the Nation, so that we can hasten the motions that brings national development. It's going to be a regular basis on Tuesdays. Make it a date with me. I'll be there waiting for you, and then we shall discuss Nigeria on an holistic level.
With me in the studio is a political analyst, Mr. Lucky Joseph. You're welcome to the studios.
Thank you very much.
And to you, our viewers out there, what we shall be discussing this morning borders on what is constant as we speak. We are on the threshold of elections 2023. And a lot of things are happening. If you were part of our viewpoint earlier, we were talking about political violence. I'd like to say this for your own, so that you can chip in later. And one of our callers from Zurmi was very particular about what was happening there. Zurmi is in Zamfara State, not too far from Guzo, which goes in tandem with what the governor said, that political parties should not hold rallies in the state because the security situation is not too good. A lot of political parties took it to the dogs and said, no, the incumbent is trying to infringe on their rights to campaign. But here we are, with a caller calling in and telling us that the situation there is so dire, people are being kidnapped, people are going outdoors to go collect money so that they can go and pay the bandits. And you, my brother, here in the studio, we're trying to fuse this into the element of elections 2023 and the campaigns of the political parties. You're a Nigerian, and basically I believe you will belong to a political party. But this morning, let's talk in general terms. In general terms, what are the political parties and the politicians doing to us? I'm particular about what they are doing to us first, because that is what instigates this element of violence. What are they doing to us first, and what are we expecting from them in terms of their campaigns?
All right. I would say that our politicians generally, and that's the way they've run forever, is to do the divide and rule. You know, this is where you come from, so stick with me. If I'm from here, support me. And we've had some of the candidates say things like that, which is just not right.
What do you think about that? For a candidate to say, I am from here, support me based on...
I think it is wrong. You can't be aspiring to the top leadership in the country and be talking about your people. So what happens to the other people who are not your people? Because you already balkanized the place. These are my people, these are not my people. And that brings conflict. You know, the political situation is dysfunctional, clearly. And yes, we have a situation now where people feel like there's some hope. People feel that way. And, you know, we've been trying to hit the mark for quite some time now. It's been more misses than any hits, more misses. You know, but that's not to say we've not made some progress. However, I think that, like we say all the time, politicians should endeavor not to heat up the politics. It's important that
Can they afford not to do that?
They do not.
How do they campaign without eating up the politics?
I think that campaigns, well, I mean, by the nature of politics, you know, there's a need to rouse up fervor and emotions and all of that. But it has to be the right set of emotions, the right set of, you know, you can't be, I mean, there are things you can say in private that you can't say in public.
Of course.
I mean, to come out on a campaign ground and say that is just totally wrong, because you're giving signals that are not helping.
Anything can happen.
Yes.
But there's also the school of thought that politicians usually do not control what their followers do.
Is it because they cannot control them, or they refuse to control them?
Or they refuse to control them. Because some actually give the excuses that politicians cannot control their followers.
I don't believe it.
Okay.
Followers take their cue from their leaders, from the people they follow. So even when those things are not voiced, when they're not verbalized, you know that this is exactly what this man would have us, would like us to do. So they take their cue. Cues are not always done from the mountaintop.
Body language.
Body language. And once that is done, people just feel like, okay, that's the way to go. And then we don't see the candidates saying, hey, have some restraint.
Okay.
Yes. If you are unhappy with it, then your body language, the things you say, should show that, hey, no, this is not the way to go. But we don't get that.
Okay. Before let me ask you this, and use that as an opener to my other question. That why are politicians doing that? Is it a pure case of kill and divide? Is it a morbid case? Because the moment a man dies, the situation becomes morbid. Is our politicking going morbid? And are the politicians, you say politicians now, they know what is happening, they just refuse to talk about it. So when somebody dies and the political campaign becomes morbid, what do we do? What advice do you have as a Nigerian, as a member of the electorate, to the politicians and to the average Nigerian?
I would say that I don't think that our politicians care that they give a hoot whether somebody dies or not.
You don't mean that?
I don't think so. I don't think they care. I mean, everything we see...
They are human beings, remember?
No.
And this,
they don't.
And this set of people are actually aspiring to
govern
these people.
Yes, they are aspiring to lead.
Yeah.
But they don't mind leading, trading on corpses to lead. I'm sorry, my language is a little raw. But we have seen this happen over and over again. This is not the first time. From the 60s up until now, it's always been cases of political violence. And the leaders, nothing happens to them. They are protected on every side. And you don't hear that their children or themselves get harmed or hurt in any way. They don't rein in their followers. So if they are killing someone who is opposition, or opposition believing that, okay, these guys have messed us up, let us also retaliate, and that happens, they don't care. It's really all...
Are you now saying that our political system is not ripe enough, or is it work in progress that will get better with time, or what?
Is it that we will not get to that time where we're free of all this violence, even at the peak of politicking?
Yeah, when, we keep talking about being ripe enough and all of that. Yes. It would never happen.
Why? That's being negative.
No, when you say ripe,
positive thinker.
No, when you say ripe enough, you get ripe to a point where you drop. Right. Because you're too ripe.
Okay.
I think you have to get to a point where you just be mature. Just know. No, I mean it's a mindset. We think that the way we do politics is the way to do politics. And it is not the way to do politics.
Unfortunately, as an example, your own thinking as an example for the average Nigerian watching.
Now, as a writer to that, I would like you to do an assessment. Let's say from 1999, when Nigeria returned to civil rule, can you do an assessment of the political atmosphere in terms of violence? Has there been any improvement? Let's know if we're moving somewhere.
I think that there's been some progress. To be fair.
That's good news.
No, there's been some progress. And actually the fear of violence is more not from the campaign rally grounds. There would be that. But it's more of the overarching violence that just prevails everywhere else. And the fear, like in Zamfara, is that it would come from maybe the forests and from the farms where these people are, stationed, down to the campaign ground. That's the fear that, look, you are putting people together without enough protection. And these are easy. They are easy picking for these guys. There's no real protection. So that fear is there. But I don't think, I believe that we are not like we used to do, where it was cudgels and cutlasses and all of that. No, I don't.
Like the wet here days.
Exactly. No, I think that we've made some progress along those lines. But there is a general violence that was not there before, which would move on to the campaign. There's no doubt. I mean, that's going to happen. There's no doubt. You know, because, I mean, it's everywhere. You are driving on the road, they can pick you. You are in your house, they can pick you. All sorts of things are happening. So,
but at this juncture, because we're talking about politicking and the element of political violence, based on the fact that this is the threshold towards elections
2023, yes.
The thing is, you are a Nigerian, 1. 2, you're part of the electorate. Your vote counts. You're going to exercise that, your franchise, come any voting day.
Clearly.
And then you want a situation whereby you can get out of your house, go to your polling unit nearest to you, cast your vote as a Nigerian.
Unafraid,
and go back home.
Or maybe you can decide to wait to make sure that your vote counts.
Like they say we should do.
Yes. We've done elections these days, because once it is done and the counting is done, you know, most PUs are below 500 people.
That's true.
Below 500. So if you feel more like a Nigerian, you have anything doing, you can wait, make sure it is being sent. But my question is, as a Nigerian with an opinion of your own,
yes,
what are your thoughts? We're still emphasizing on this. What are your thoughts about that element of campaign? I'm going back to the source. Campaign and political parties. Because political parties roll out campaigns, campaigns roll out the violence. Look at those 3 parameters and let's hear your thoughts.
I think that the political parties are, by nature, like we said earlier, they would whip up fervor, they would whip up emotions and sentiments, and you can't do all of those 3. And let's not be too sophisticated.
You have it right.
No, I'm saying let's not be too sophisticated about who the followers are. A lot of the people who follow politicians, I mean, right now, some AB people are getting into the fray, but generally, it's people who are not very educated, to be honest. As we know, yes, the not so educated, the poor, and you know, some people have said that the reason we are perpetually impoverished is because we would always have those people to follow the politicians or whatever they say, hey, do. But now I think people are beginning to see that they have a stake bigger than just those characters. Now everybody understands that we need to play our part. You know, so the political parties have clearly a big role to play. And I think that for now, it's really 3 parties, I think. You know, you're asking me for my opinion. Yes. So I think that those 3, which have pan-Nigeria followership, that's my reason for saying that 3. Yes, pan-Nigeria followership. The leadership of those parties, or maybe the candidates from those parties, must keep making the point, not just verbally, but also in how they carry themselves, that look, nobody's excluded from my campaign. I'm counting on votes from everywhere. I'm not thinking historical, because people are talking history. These guys would vote these guys would vote these guys would vote these guys. No. We're talking about being on the cusp of something new, something different. So, I need you to vote for me because I can do this. And tell us issue-based. But we also need for you not just say what you will do, but how you will do it. We've seen it over and over.
And follow through.
I mean, I started following politics on Shehu Shagari. I mean, fully.
Wow.
And, yes, and I know that the same things we campaign about today are the same things that we campaigned with then. Is water, is light, is road, is the same things, and nothing has changed. You know, when you look at it from how are we now relative to how we used to be, progress has not been as as much as we thought then as young people, thought that, man, oh, by now we should be living in, you know, we should be developed. And politics is a big part, has a big role to play in whether we develop or not.
Of course.
Has a very big role, because this is leadership. This is a man who sits there and says, this is my vision, this is the direction, this is how we're going to go, and we all follow him. So we need a man, not just charisma is important, but it's more than charisma. It's what's the message? How are you going to do it? What's the track record? Those are the things we're looking for. So, and in doing this, a leader can't be one who, because we're talking about Nigeria. You're not leading Yorubas or leading Igbos or leading Hausa Fulani or leading thief people. We are talking about the leader of Nigeria. So you must emblematize our different issues, our different fears and all. You must carry all of that in yourself. And that means you'll be looking at keeping the peace.
Okay.
Keeping the peace. That's the overarching reason for your wanting to lead, because only when Nigeria is peaceful we can't develop much. When you have violence all over the place, right, there has to be peace, and that peace has to come from you being able to tell your followership on the campaign ground that this is who we are about. We are a peaceful people, and we would make this country work by being peaceful.
At this juncture, you see, I like your person for one reason. You know why? You are highly animated. Because you're talking with verve
and passion.
And passion. You're talking with verve and passion.
It's my country.
It's your country.
It's our country.
It's our country.
And you know, sir, truth is, we have all been very disappointed at the way we've turned out. We all thought, I mean, back then in school, you saw China was backward. You saw Indonesia was at par with us. You saw Vietnam, you saw all of those countries. Now they are all like this. India. Look at where we still are. You know, so it makes you feel bad, and we know the real reason. People would say followership has an issue. Clearly, yes. But followership is the smallest issue. If you, I mean,
there are two coins to that.
But we can keep hope alive, right?
And the leadership.
We can keep hope alive, right?
Exactly, but we
that
also know
somehow we're going to get there.
Yes, but you know, hope, as they say, is not a strategy.
Okay.
We can't just be hopeful and just be hoping that things will change
without making
efforts.
Yes, you must
let me now chip in that question I have in reserve for you. You've had the experience as a Nigerian, which you clearly stated that, okay, you went into politics during the Shagari era, and then you're still at it as we speak. You've been through it, you've seen the experiences, you've seen the nuances of politicians till date. And you said nothing has changed so far. It's the same.
Not
it's a recurring decimal in terms of their campaign trail.
Yes.
Let me ask you this, because it's technical, and I guess somebody like you is highly technical. When it comes to campaigning, the politician who is campaigning can tell you what he is going to do based on his own thinking, his own manifesto, and the rest of it. It is another kettle of fish what you will do when you get there. Like right now, okay, I aspire to be Mr. President. I'm going to give you roads, 13,000 kilometers of road. And by the time I get there, there is no money in the kitty. How am I going to do that? One. Two, I make promises based on that element of futuristic projection. Everything in life is futuristic. If you play the stock market, you're playing futuristic. If you go to school, you're playing futuristic. Everything in life is futuristic. So basically, I believe the politician is saying something in the futuristic that when I get there, there are 3, 4, 5, 18 of them as we speak. When I get there, I will do this. When you get there, what you're going to meet, because money is the basis of all those promises you're making. And if the money is not there, what are you going to do? You are not sure you're meeting the money, so basically what you say is, when I get there, I will do this. For God's sake, can you fuse in your own intellect along all the parameters of the unknown and futuristic thinking?
All right, so what I would say with this is there needs to be rigor. And we, the electorate, must compel that element of rigor. It's not enough to promise. Promises are cheap. They are one and done. anybody can say anything. But where is the rigor? This is where we are now. We know where we are. We are owing about 60 trillion naira. I mean, we know where we are. So the promises must be made against the backdrop of where we are coming from. If we are coming in 2023, it will be more than 60 trillion at the time you get in. So you know the hole we are in. How do we dig ourselves out of that hole? So it's not enough to be futuristic. When you are like that, yes, you whip up sentiments and hopes and everybody, yes, we're going to run. But when you do that, it's the cheapest thing for you to get there and find everybody angry with you because you raise hopes that you can't meet. You know, so it's a good thing for us as the electorate, especially people like you in the media, to take them to task. You are going to do this, and this is where we are now. You know, we are going to, like the other time, we'll pay people who are, graduates, 5K and all of that. Do we have that money? If you are saying that we are going to build roads in every sector, how exactly are we going to do it? Are we going to raise, because now, for instance, you are trying to get IGR by overtaxing people. Is that how we're going to do it? Are we going to be building infrastructure at the expense of people's convenience and comfort and lives?
Remembering that our tax regime, the way we go about it, is not too good as is.
Sir, let me say that whenever you have issues like this, it is not don't blame the people. No, you can't blame the people. If the dragnet is wide enough,
that's right.
It would be a lot easier for people to pay easy. But when you have a few people and you overtax them because you know them, you go to them, you close their offices, you put them, under undue duress, then that's a big problem.
So from what we are listening to right now, the dragnet is being expanded by the FIRS.
There has to be a lot more effort.
Of course, yes.
A lot more effort to increase that dragnet. Because what it is, we keep hearing that we don't pay. It's not true. We pay a lot of taxes on everything we do. That's the truth. Anybody who is, every Nigerian pays taxes. Yeah, some way or the other.
One way or the other, you
pay. Yes.
When you make
exactly. So that is there. So they can't be telling us all of that. However,
but what about in terms of personal income taxes?
Yes. So government, if you have the FIRS, for instance, please let them do a better job. Rather than just building offices all over the place, let them do the job of going to get these guys. Businesses are evident. You can see them. You know them. So you can pull them. You don't have your tax records. You want to do some jobs with us, you have to have that. So we don't have an issue with being taxed, but not being overtaxed. But that was not the point. I think I forget the point I was making now.
No, you were trying to talk about politicians when you make promises. And
exactly.
So and you should
yes, exactly. So we must know, and that's what we must do, and that's why this time we must do the debates. The debates are critical.
This debate, do they actually work?
No, but we need to do it. Let's hear them so that we can hold them accountable. If 2 years down the line, you say, in 2 years' time, this will be done, we hear you say it, and we can say, man, you haven't done it. And then maybe in 4 years' time, we say, okay, you didn't do this, you said you do, you said, no, man, please. Yes. Exactly.
It's been nice having you with us, because honestly, one program is not enough to tidy up things like this.
Clearly.
Because on a daily basis, occurrences, issues, they crop up, topical issues crop up, per second, per minute, per day, per week. It's something we're going to deal with on a regular basis. But from your own perspective, I would like your last word in just 2 sentences. We agree we have leadership and followership problem. Just give us a sentence about what it's all about you. Just 1 sentence.
Nigeria will do well. I think that 2023 will be a great year.
Thank you very much.